Thank you for listening to Comics for Fun and Profit. This is Kyle and Drew, and we are going to bring you a special episode number 455. Drew, myself, and a friend of ours went and saw Avengers Infinity War. We saw it opening day, that Thursday. We saw a 7 o'clock showing. You and I wanted to make sure we didn't get spoiled on this, and we were there with the hip crowd on Avengers Infinity War. Right, Drew?
Yeah. Well, yeah, my daughter went along, too. That was nice.
Yeah.
Not sure she dug it as much as we did.
She was there for one and one reason alone, is that was to make sure her favorite characters made it through.
And like we said, it's spoilerific.
Yeah, we're doing a separate one that we are going to label spoilers. This won't be embedded in an episode. It'll be its own individual thing, but we thought you guys might want our opinion on Avengers Infinity War. We're sure you guys have seen it, because what, comic book loving person wouldn't want to see the 19th episode, Marvel MCU movie, the quintessential. It's made more money than any movie ever created, it seems. It's going to be number one on everything, but we just wanted to chill for a bit and talk to you guys about Avengers Infinity War and invite you guys to tweet at us, go to our Facebook pages and other things to be part of the conversation, or if you have questions for everything, just kind of what our thoughts are. Drew, you really liked the movie, didn't you?
I did. I really liked it. I was surprised that I liked it, because I did not like Age of Ultron. So,
as most people didn't.
Good. I'm not alone there. And so this I thought from the beginning to the end was really, really good. It didn't feel like a 2 hour and 40-minute movie. I really liked Thanos. Well portrayed.
Now that was the big question I had going on, because we knew ahead of time that Thanos would not have an infatuation with death. He would not want to be with Death. He would not Death as a female person to come out and be with him. That was not his motivation in this one, and that scared me a little bit as to whether we would care why he was doing this.
I didn't miss it.
I didn't either.
I totally bought into his half of the population should die to save the rest of humanity. I bought into that pretty easily, and I didn't miss the whole death angle. Did you?
Yeah. No, it was really cool. I kind of thought that could get really convoluted and everything if we get to Death and trying to impress Death.
Yeah.
And then if you don't impress Death, how do we chase Death more and that kind of thing. So I liked it. It was just, he's like, you know what? My planet had too many people. Bad things happen. So you know what? I'm going to make sure mathematically we randomly kill 50% of all and bring balance to the galaxy. I thought it came off well. He came off genuine. And something very odd, I'm usually critical of villains in the MCU. I like the your Killmongers, I like your Vultures, but normally I'm not a big fan of your Obadiah Stanes and your other weird things, and even sometimes your Lokis. But man, Thanos is probably my favorite villain in any MCU movie.
Yeah, he was great, and yeah, just there were so many really awesome scenes, and the way, I mean, they just throw you right into it. You're getting that first stone. Was it the Power Stone, the first one, maybe?
When we see him, he already has the Power Stone. He has already, defeated the Nova Corps and stolen that one fairly easily. And this movie literally picks up right where Guardians leaves, or right where Ragnarok leaves off.
Yeah, it doesn't mess around.
No,
and it. The thing I liked about it, I liked a lot about it, but it really handled the large cast well. I mean, having all those characters, and I felt like I didn't feel like anybody was not on screen enough or on screen too much.
Cap was not on. Cap had an amazing intro, but there was no Cap to be found almost the whole movie.
But I didn't feel like there was a hole there.
Completely agree. My favorite thing at the beginning they establish Hulk versus Thanos straight up. Thanos owns Hulk. That was perfectly done. I loved that part.
Yeah, and I guess the whole thing with Banner not being able to Hulk out was interesting.
Yeah, because Thanos kicked his tail and he was scared. We had the Hulk running scared, I guess.
Yeah. So that was a new thing, and I thought Doctor Strange was used very well.
Oh, yeah.
And there's this one part where he is going through all the possible futures, and has determined, supposedly, that there is one way that we win. but he doesn't really say what that is, and then he ends up giving the time stone to Thanos
to save Tony Stark's life.
Which he's already said, your life's not worth saving, over the
If
stone.
it comes to you, if it comes to the spider, if it comes to the stone,
Yeah.
the stone's always going to be the number one.
So at the time, I didn't understand it. It didn't feel genuine because he kind of flip-flopped so quickly. Mm-hmm. But then later we'll circle back around. That might be a key to something.
Absolutely.
I think the Spider-Man character, another cameo. They borrowed this character again from Sony, and I thought it was great.
We've seen 3 times. We got 2 more.
Yeah, I thought that was used really, really well. Iron Man, I thought that I would be sick of him at this point. He's been in a lot of these, and I'm kind of thought I was done with Robert Downey Jr., but he really handled it really well and was both funny and powerful and good Iron Man. It was great.
We never got our no shit Sherlock line from Benedict Cumberbatch and Iron Man from him and both people that played Sherlock Holmes. We didn't get that, but
were you hoping?
Yeah, that's what a lot of people were like. Oh, that'd be great, but if we get what's his face from Black Panther, who plays Watson, to come in and maybe hopefully fulfill that line in the next one, that was just just something I thought would be funny.
That would be pretty good. I didn't even put that together, but you're right. Yeah, they've all been in Sherlock shows or movies. That's
so at the top of the movie we lose Loki.
Yes,
pretty badly, and we lose Heimdall.
We think they're dead, right?
They're dead. There's very little not being dead.
Not wiggle room. Yeah, that was it was a lot of death.
Mm-hmm. So that I like that, and of course we get Hulk being flown back to Earth as the Herald. In the comics, of course, that's Silver Surfer, but we're not doing Silver Surfer in this one. We're using the Hulk in this case, and I think it worked very, very well about him being the person that says, Thanos is coming and all that stuff.
Yeah, that was great.
Now, Ebony Maw, Corvus Glaive, and everybody else that's Thanos' little buddies.
They were
what
great.
Did you think about them? Yeah,
they were awesome.
Ebony Maw, of course, steals everything. He's phenomenal. Black Dwarf, or wait, it's not Black Dwarf. We had to something Obsidian. We changed his name because we couldn't call him Black Dwarf in this. And Proxima Midnight. That's the name I couldn't remember.
Yeah, the dude that was magical.
Ebony Maw.
He was fantastic.
Yeah,
I really liked him. But yeah, all those evil henchmen, which you know them much better than I do. I don't think I've ever read any of those characters before, so they were all new to me, and I thought they were fantastic. And yeah, they really did a good job and were super powerful. I didn't realize how powerful they were, but they were great, and they were kicking butt throughout.
For as good as the CG was on Thanos throughout this whole thing, Proxima Midnight, a lot of people had a lot of problems with kind of the way she was rendered and how she kind of stood out as a CG character a bit on this. But all in all, I don't think it took me out of the movie, but it wasn't as well done. She kind of came off very kind of odd looking.
What was there like there was cartoony elements to her?
Yeah, it wasn't. It was more overtly CG than like Thanos. I thought blended well, and Josh Brolin did phenomenal, and it looked like a character that was in there. Whenever I saw Proxima Midnight, I was just like, ugh.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't. That didn't happen for me. Mm-hmm. But yeah, those battles were fantastic. A lot of splintered groups, and let's fight them separately so they have a little more screen time, and those really worked really well. Vision, I wasn't sure about the whole. Well, we have to kill you in order for this to work.
Mm-hmm.
We have to destroy you, and then they decided to shift gears, and well, if we go to Wakanda, they have the technology. We can maybe just remove the gem and hide it.
Mm-hmm.
and that took forever and didn't really.
No, we were going to remove the gem and then independently destroy it without destroying Vision. Hopefully.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's 2 hours and 40 minutes, folks, and I only saw it once, so I should probably go see it again. There's a lot going on here.
There you go. But yeah, I loved how they gave everybody a little bit of room to breathe. They split some of our people up. They split our Guardians of the Galaxy up even. So, just kind of gave them their own space.
And the Guardians came in and really stole their scenes. Their scenes were laugh out loud funny and really strong. The interplay between Star-Lord and Thor was really great. And
we absolutely get Ragnarok Thor in this. He is the exact character from Ragnarok. The humor and everything's intact. So I'm glad they stuck with that, and they stuck with that personality almost to a T.
Yeah, that was great. And Thor was very strong throughout this as well. He got the biggest standing ovation or loud cheering when he came
the Stormbringer scene.
Yeah, so there was, and then there was the whole. Who's the guy from Game of Thrones? I'm losing his name. Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage. Yep.
Yeah, his appearance was great as
the oversized dwarf.
The oversized dwarf. That was fantastic. That whole scene was great. The Wakanda stuff was great. It was great to get back there so fast after Black Panther, and it just felt like, ooh, we got a sequel to this coming up at some point. And that was fun.
Biggest noticeable absences, of course, from this is we got no Hawkeye.
No Hawkeye, yeah.
We got no Ant-Man.
Yeah.
We got no Valkyrie or any of the other larger characters that were on that ship from Ragnarok.
Yeah, and Valkyrie was great, so I'm surprised,
But we hear later on, we hear Thor say, half of my people have been wiped out. Now, if you're just watching that initial scene, it looks like everybody's dead. But if you're hearing his words, he's saying half of the Asgardians have been wiped out. So I'm to assume that half of them are still alive, so there's a possibility for Valkyrie and a few other people to still be alive and heading towards Oklahoma or whatnot.
Okay.
So that was a point of contention with a bunch of people who were like, did you hear him say half of my people?
Yeah.
So I'm still under the assumption that there are still Asgardians and that hopefully Valkyrie may still be alive.
Right.
And that she was like staying with the people to get them safe.
Well, there was also one of the Soul Stone he had to get from Red Skull.
Awesome cameo, man! I loved that voice,
which was interesting, and I'm not sure what does Red Skull just hang out there now after this.
It appears he's been cursed there. That he, the stones and things he wanted so much, he's so close to but can't get in his own. So I'm not sure if somebody pulls that stone, if he's fulfilled and that's it, or if he's just stuck there now with absolutely no purpose.
No, he has no purpose at all. But having to sacrifice his daughter to get that soul stone was really, really effective, and it worked, and it was believable. Gamora was great.
A lot of screen time for Gamora.
A lot of screen time for her, and I probably should have known that coming in, but. Hey, Donny Cates kind of showed us some of this stuff in the Thanos run. Mm-hmm. He did what, 6 issues of Thanos from 13 to 18, and we kind of saw, hey, Thanos is bad. He's tough. He's going to be around. And
you said you were especially kind of impressed with the annual for Thanos as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Just how cruel he can be.
Yeah, and it had a bunch of different stories, but and it really established that because he has been in the series, he's so far removed from all the actual individual killings and things, and all the evilness of him. Mm-hmm. You're it's just kind of fun to watch him, but then in the annual they kind of revisit some of his dickishness and what an awful person he is. And then we saw a lot of that in the movie, and it really did show just devastating power of the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah,
and
and we
just
saw it
how
in the
powerful
scene,
it is.
like the scenes on Nowhere, where he used the Reality Stone to trick,
Yeah.
Gamora into seeing how she would react, finding him there, and he gets what he wants, where she goes through with trying to kill him, and that's just him toying with them at that point.
That was great. I forgot about that until you just mentioned it. That was a great scene too. Getting, they kind of getting that after the heroes succeed in blowing up Vision's stone. Was that the time? Which one is that? The time stone?
Vision has the Mind Stone.
The Mind Stone.
Or Mind Gem. I apologize.
So they actually win, but because Thanos has the Time Stone or Time Gem, he can rewind it a little bit and then win.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh shit, oh man, and it was pretty powerful in the theater. Everybody was just like on the edge of their seats, and then what you said was going to happen, you had been kind of calling for, was he was going to snap his fingers.
Yeah, that's how I wanted the entire movie to end. I wanted the entire movie to end with a snap of the finger and no post-credit scene. They went a little further, and it was the right call, because we get to see who all gets blinked out, but I'm super happy with how it ended.
And the way they all dissolved into ash was very effective.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness, the friggin' Spider-Man scene.
Yeah. Mr. Stark.
Yeah. And, of course, in the Infinity Gauntlet story, Spider-Man sticks around in that one, but isn't really there at the end when they get all cosmic and everything to try to correct everything. In this one, they're just like, nope, he's out. So, like, when we talk about who got blinked out and who came back, we see the $1.4 billion Black Panther disappear and all his cohorts, and we are left with essentially the original Avengers.
Oh, I didn't even count who was around still. I knew Iron Man was still around.
Cap, Black Widow, Bucky. I can't remember if Bucky lived or not. That's the one I can't remember. But essentially what we have is the original Avengers. Hulk's still there. So it's kind of neat to see we're back to where we started with this. And I assume there's a reason for that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Biggest questions I have is the gauntlet. It looked like it got thrashed.
What do you mean?
Like, after he snaps, if you look at the gauntlet, it's like black. So I don't know if he destroyed the gauntlet in that or exactly what. That's a big question I have is what condition is the gauntlet still in? Because it looked pretty toe up.
Okay, so we see him snap his fingers. We see half of everyone disappear into ash. Then we see Thanos chilling in a cabana.
Yeah, he pieces out, goes through a wormhole, and heads out to what I believe is Gamora's planet. It looks like he talked about how her planet, since he killed half the people, has turned into a lush utopia, and just from the kind of scenes that we saw at the beginning, that's where I think he may have gone to.
So he's just chilling, and I don't remember if he even had the gauntlet on at that point, or if there was anything wrong with it.
He took it with him, but I remember right after he blinks, you kind of see it, and it's just black. And I don't know if it, like, the actual gauntlet kind of blows up and deteriorates. That's one question I have going for. Granted, I'm sure they'll deal with that, but that's just one thing I was like, what?
Yeah. So now we go back to when Doctor Strange gives up the time gem, and he says there is only one of 14 million possibilities, but doesn't spell it out. So, does he see a path to win this victory, and is it tied to saving Tony Stark?
That's my assumption. My assumption is it's around Tony. Tony has to live for this to even work, is my assumption. And if he needed to give up the time stone, possibly even in the vision he saw, he sees a moment in time where half the people are blinked out.
Yeah.
But in the end, it's all rectified, is my, of course, assumption.
Now, have you read the Infinity Gauntlet storyline? the comic.
Been years. I'm trying to pull all this crap from way back memory, and I wasn't real into it when I read it. I was just like, I should probably read this, and I'd read it, and I was like, okay.
Okay. So you don't know how close it was to the movie, how the movie and the comics lined up.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely quite a few differences in it, and some of the characters that help in the end of this, Adam Warlock and stuff, we haven't seen or anything about, so that I don't know the answers to.
Okay.
So we're definitely gonna have to do a few things
I,
different.
I never read it, and I was at first I was thinking I should, and then I thought I want to go in cold and just kind of experience it. And I think I'm glad I did.
Yeah, I purposely did not go back and rehash it before this because I was like, let them do their thing. But I do have a tertiary knowledge of it.
And so I'm sure fans of the comic might have better theories as to what is going to happen, and what kind of plot they'll use from that comic. But I think I'm gonna try to stay away from that, and just what is it? We have a year to wait.
We have a year to wait, sir, and we don't even have a title yet.
Yeah. Well, I did have to wait 3 years between Empire and Return of the Jedi. Thinking, how is he his father? No. So this should be no problem.
Very good.
So we both liked it. Now, we're saying we're spoiling. We're going to put tags on this thing that we're spoiling this, but
absolutely,
the internet didn't do that. Have you
Nobody
noticed?
saw it ahead of time. They did not allow pre-screenings before Thursday. I think Wednesday was the earliest anybody got to see it, even the world premiere and everything. So,
right, but it's only been a week or so, and can you believe all the stuff that's just like all out there on the internet about this movie? That's just like, oh, that's kind of important. You don't really want to know that going in.
Yeah, it's become a big meme where a lot of different internet things are being blinked out of existence and pictures and
Yeah, and you're like, well, yeah, that's too bad. So, yes, you want to see this one, hurry up and see this one, folks.
Yeah.
Because, it's really good, and you don't want anything to ruin your experience. But I really don't know if you would have told me going in, hey, man, half of everybody dies, I don't know if I would have made a difference for me.
But man, it would have messed with me if I knew Cap lived, if I knew Iron Man lived, because the whole time I'm thinking they're going to kill Cap or they're going to kill Iron Man. They're going to kill Cap or they're going to kill Iron Man. So the moment where Tony gets stabbed in the kidneys, I'm like, crap, this is where he dies. And that was me panicking. And had I known he lived, I wouldn't have panicked like that. Yeah. I thought maybe Cap, and the one where Cap's holding the gauntlet, I'm like, this is where he just crushes his head like Loki. So that anticipation and that foreboding of what's going to happen, I'm glad wasn't spoiled for me, because that there was a sense of dread with a lot of things.
Yeah, and of course not all these billion-dollar cash cows will stay dead.
We know we've got Homecoming 2, so we know Spider-Man makes it. We know Black Panther can't die because of that cash cow.
Yeah, so we just don't know how.
Yeah.
How is Thanos going to get beat?
There you go. And post credits, we get Captain Marvel.
That was like super underwhelming, I thought. That reveal. I was just like, oh, okay. Who cares?
Yeah. So we're going to talk about her, but her movie takes place in the past, so we're going to get her origin, get to know her, how powerful she is, and hopefully they tell us where the heck she's been for 30 years and where she's at in space or whatever, that she hasn't been helping through any of this. So coming out of this, I always ask you and everybody, where does this rank in your pantheon of MCU? And for me, it is my number one favorite MCU movie.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I thought Black Panther was kind of a perfect movie, and I'm gonna stick with that. Yep. But this is a close second, and is more epic in scope.
Yeah,
it's a bigger movie, and when that second half happens, is it going to be another 2.5 hours? Oh, then you put those 5 hours together. Holy smokes!
I have this. I have Winter Soldier. I have Homecoming. I have Guardians 2, and Black Panther in my top 5.
I don't see Winter Soldier holding up, but it's been a long time since I've seen it. So
There you go.
I'll let you have that. I'll let you have your own opinion.
You're not going to fight me on this? Wow.
No, I'm going to let you have your own opinion. That's fine. But yeah, they're really, really strong. Well done. And, hopefully, I mean, I think Deadpool is really good. So
Oh, yeah.
Sony gets it too. And so Deadpool 2 is coming out this week. And we'll be going to that.
If you guys like this kind of thing, let us know afterwards. We have plans to go see both Solo and Deadpool if you guys are interested in our breakdowns afterwards.
Yeah. And so I think Sony does a good job with that. I think Fox does a good job with X-Men. But I know there have been some uneven episodes that people haven't liked as much. I've liked what Sony did with Spider-Man. I think that's fine. It seems like, Fantastic Four, of course, is a dud, and Fox has tried multiple times on that one, and it's not happening. But now that Disney has absorbed Fox, supposedly, once those contracts run out, they're not going to be able to be renewed or something. They'll get those characters back, but then they have to wait for that to. They're going to have to wait for that to run its course and then start the planning process, they say.
Phase 5.
Yeah. So, could be 2025 or later.
We'll
right?
see if the comic book bubble has burst by then.
Yeah. Well, I don't see it happening. I mean, they're really the only things I go to the theaters for. I don't need to go to Super Troopers 2 in the theater. I can wait for that one.
The schnozberries taste like schnozberries.
But these, you either see them in the theater or
you see them online on accident.
Yeah, or you have them ruined for you. So yeah, really, really great. Lived up to the hype, I thought. Only the trolliest of trolls are trying to tear this thing down with any kind of critiques. There's really nothing wrong with this movie. It's really, really good.
Yeah, even at 2 hours and 45 minutes, I was like, I could have stayed longer.
Yeah, you want to keep going. It still bothers me that I stay through the credits to the end for like a little snippet of nothing.
Long credits in this one. Long credits.
There was a lot of people involved.
Yeah.
So it was really, really good, and go see it if you haven't. I'm sure you've seen it, or you wouldn't listen to this and have it ruined for you. So we assume you liked it. If you didn't, keep it to yourself. I don't want to hear it.
Nah, tell us why you didn't like. Tell us why you didn't like it. If you're a hardcore fan of the Infinity Gauntlet trades and stuff, and like that story, tell us where it missed the mark on that one, because I'm actually kind of curious.
Yeah. There's probably tons more things that I'm going to think of as soon as we're done here, but there's just so many moving parts. It was
Scarlet
really
Witch lost her accent, so that was kind of neat.
I didn't notice that. It was a great battle in Wakanda too.
Yeah.
Oh man. So
Great
good.
stuff. But we want to thank you guys for listening to our spoiler cast of Avengers 3, The Infinity War. And we just kind of wanted to touch base with you guys and tell you kind of our thoughts on it. And again, if you want to argue with us or talk to us about all this stuff, reach out to us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or just send us a Gmail line and we'll talk about it on our next podcast. So for Drew and for myself, see ya.